Welcome to the Scaling Podcast. I'm your host, Aaron Harper, and today's guest is Brad Smith. Brad is the founder of Automation Links, which is a company that helps people get more leads and automate their business.
But we had to pivot. We were in a really bad car accident. We had a really successful fitness business, #1 on Google, 10, 12 clients a week from it. And somebody rear-ended us going 50 miles per hour. My wife had concussions and seizures for 3 years after. I have 11 herniated discs. So I have a standing desk that every hour I got to go up and down. So we couldn't be in the fitness business anymore. Luckily, we were in the best shape of our life. And so, I always encourage entrepreneurs and business owners, be ready to pivot, have something else. They say 3 streams of income for this exact reason. I didn't have anything. I just said, shoot, now what?
We had a great conversation about life and Google and how to rank on AI and a bunch of great things that you can use today to grow your business. Or if you're thinking about starting a business, these are great things to think about as you build systems. If you're thinking about acquiring a business and you want to remove the fax machine or you want to improve systems, this is going to be the episode you want to listen to. So make sure to watch till the end because we get into some really good stuff towards the end. Brad, welcome to the show.
Aaron, it's awesome to be here. Thank you for having me. I've been looking forward to this.
Me too. So you've been doing some work with my team, which is awesome, and helping us get set up. So I definitely want to talk about that and kind of some of the stuff that you've done to help us out. But for the listeners who don't know you, you've had kind of an entrepreneurial career going from fitness to automation to marketing, and so kind of just walk me through your background. I might double click and stop you and talk about different things, but let's go ahead and start there.
I appreciate that. Yeah. Your team's been awesome, by the way. Great group of people. And even the people that we've interacted with that are, in the business, super cool. I could hang out with them and have a coffee or beer with them,
Yeah, because you're working with Nick, I presume.
Nick,
one of our.
Yep. And Jacob.
Nick and Jacob. Yep. Yeah.
I said I got to go to Tennessee and meet them, and Virginia and meet them, or they got to come here. So yeah, it's been really good.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So my grandpa was an entrepreneur, so I kind of got lucky with that. He, back in the day, entrepreneurship was owning your own tire store and slinging tires on the side of the street. So I always looked up to him for that. My dad helped me get into entrepreneurship when I was 15, started making garden benches out of scrap wood. But he didn't help me sell them. He made me load them in the back of the pickup truck. He drove me to the greenhouses, and he said, hey, you got to go sell them. So I'd have to walk in there without even a garden bench because it was in the back of the truck and go to this greenhouse owner and say, hey, I got this thing. Can we sell it at your place? And they'd say no. So I had to go follow up. Come back a month later. Hey, can I sell it? No. 3 months later. All right, fine. We'll put it on consignment. So luckily at the young age of 15, I got into some sales, door-to-door sales, and that kind of just took me from there.
Nice.
Ended up coaching hockey players. I was a big hockey player up in Michigan. So started coaching hockey players. I found out I really enjoyed coaching people. So coaching kids. Then I'm sick of this cold, moved down to Florida, started a fitness business, started helping people get in shape. And that's when I met my wife, and she helped me double my fitness business after meeting. So she's also the co-founder. We've been working together for 15 years now. That's always, we can probably dive into husband and wife working relationships here in a minute. But we had to pivot. We were in a really bad car accident. We had a really successful fitness business, #1 on Google, 10, 12 clients a week from it, and somebody rear-ended us going 50 miles per hour. My wife had concussions and seizures for 3 years after. I have 11 herniated discs, so I have a standing desk that every hour I got to go up and down. So we couldn't be in the fitness business anymore. Luckily, we were in the best shape of our life. And so, I always encourage entrepreneurs and business owners, be ready to pivot, have something else. They say 3 streams of income for this exact reason. I didn't have anything. I just said, shoot, now what? And luckily, I had a good mentor that helped us get to be #1 on Google, had all that SMS text message automation, and that's kind of what took us from there.
Wow. That's incredible. I'm so sorry to hear that. So how long did it take to recover for you and your wife?
We still struggle, but about 95% good now. So it took
Okay.
about 4 years.
Wow.
A lot of therapy, medication that didn't work, doctors that were crazy.
Right.
So we saw the worst. But they said luckily we were in the best shape of our life, which I mentioned, and then we just stay active. So I think the more active we are, the better we feel.
Yeah. That's good. So the fitness business, was it a gym, or was it online coaching, or was it nutrition, or was it a combination of all?
Yep, it was a local gym. We did fitness and nutrition, training, group classes. Um, and I had this guy come in and didn't know him. He said, "Hey, can you get me in shape? And in exchange, instead of paying you, I'll help you build a website." I'm like,
Okay.
no. I said no. I wanted my $500 more than I wanted a website. But he finally talked me into it. And within 3 months, we were number one on Google for fitness gym in St. Pete, Florida. And
Wow.
we were just getting more leads. We had to hire like crazy. So that's actually when I saw the power of this online marketing stuff.
And is that where you live now, in St. Pete?
Yeah, we recently moved to Wilmington, North Carolina. So one
Oh,
beach
cool.
town to another. They
Yeah.
call us
That's
they call
great.
us halfbacks. Michigan, Florida, halfway back.
And where in Michigan?
So I was pretty close to Flint, Michigan, actually. So if
Okay.
anyone thinks I'm weird or I say weird things, it's because I drank the water there.
That's good.
Yeah.
My wife's from Michigan. We spend about 6 weeks in northern Michigan per year. So you know where Glen Arbor is, I
Yeah.
presume?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So we go out there. Yeah, it's beautiful. I mean, people don't know this, but it becomes like one of the most beautiful places to be in the world during
Yeah.
the summer. Like, it's amazing.
2 months only. 2 months of
Yeah.
perfect.
It's like 2 months, and then the rest of the year it's an Arctic wasteland.
Yeah, I love it up there. And the people are great. Like, it's just a family feel. And
Yep.
the lakes are beautiful. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. Okay, so you're on the mend there. That's awesome. So you decide, okay, I've got to pivot, and then you founded Automation Links at that point, or was there a gap in between, or walk me through what happened next?
Yeah, so we had to pivot. And people were already asking me, like chiropractors, other gyms, trainers, like, how do you get so many clients? And so I was really lucky on that because we had number one on Google, which I saw the power of SEO back then. But my mentor also connected an SMS automation. So people were texting me from my website. And I think that was one of the first ones, out there. This is, going on 10, 11 years ago now. So I was getting text messages and signing people up, just on automation back then. And so I'm like, what do I do next? Well, I'm getting so many people asking me about this. They need help as well. Now, at the time, it was in the fitness industry. So I created just an online fitness company to help gyms and chiropractors get
Okay.
get ranked. And I quickly realized that, hey, I could probably work with anyone. I don't have to just work with fitness gyms. And so we transitioned about 2 years after that. We're going on 8 years now with Automation Links.
Wow, and you and your wife are co-founders of that?
Yeah, so for a year, and this is one thing is I see so many people think they can just start an online business or start a business and be successful quickly. It really took us, I would say, 2 years to build this online business. So it took us 2 years to
Okay.
transition out of the gym. I would work all morning and then go home, and afternoon I would try to build the online business. It doesn't happen overnight.
Yeah.
You see all these success stories and all these tweets and LinkedIn posts about how awesome life is. Probably because they've been doing it 10 years, you know?
Right. Yeah.
So that was something we quickly realized.
What were some of the biggest challenges?
People don't trust you. They don't
Yeah.
know you. They don't like you. They have no idea who you are. And you don't have a big audience yet. So no one likes cold DMs and cold emails, which is why I love podcasts. That's what I'll get into next. But that was the turning point is I'm like, man, I can build a relationship. If Aaron, you come into my gym you're looking to get in shape, we shake each other's hands. You're either working with me because we saw each other face to face, or we're buddies after. It's not the same online. So I'm started
Right.
thinking, I reverse engineer it. How can I build better relationships with these people on the internet, like I would face to face?
And that's through content.
Through content.
Yeah. So how long into your business did it take you to realize that?
Took a year.
Yeah.
Year of breaking even. Like we were losing money for a while, probably 8 months. 12 months we started breaking even. I'm like, all right, maybe we can start transitioning soon. And about a year after doing it, I started thinking, what's a different way? Instead of telling them all about me, what's a different way? So we talked about this before the show started, I think. I said, I'm just going to start a podcast and start asking people to be on my podcast. And all of a sudden they all said yes. I'm like, I reached out to these people and they ignored me and said, no, screw you. And now I want to make it about them. Hey, can I share your story on my podcast? By the way, I didn't even have a podcast yet. No logo, no episodes, no audience. And they all said yes. I'm like, that's weird. Reverse psychology there.
Yeah. Isn't that interesting? Okay, so you've got your online business, kind of breaking even, 12 months in. What did you do to double down on content other than the podcast?
Yeah, it was the podcast, and then I started making YouTube videos. So
Okay.
I hit my 11-year anniversary yesterday.
Wow.
On one channel, and 8-year anniversary on a second channel. So I got 2 channels. And so I started making the most cringe videos. I have 2 daughters. They would say cringe. I shouldn't say cringe. Videos. But
How
everyone
old are
has
your
to start
daughters?
somewhere. 20 and 15.
Nice. Okay.
Yep. So
You
they
don't
make,
look old enough to have a 20-year-old.
Yeah. So that's a long story that we could dive into, but I've adopted them over the last
Okay.
8 years. So,
Okay.
but yeah,
That's really cool.
yep. I would have had to start really early. Let's just say that.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know how were you 14 when you had your first?
I would have been 18. We calculated it. So
All right, so let me go back. So you started making YouTube videos. You have 2 channels. What are the channels, and what are they? What do you talk about on the channels?
Yep. So the first one I started 11 years ago is just automation links.
Okay.
And that's where I just started telling people, hey, this is how you should cold outreach on LinkedIn. And this is how I started a podcast. And, this is how I was able to start a podcast and actually get clients after the podcast, by building that relationship. And, hey, by the way, after you do a podcast, email them and tell them about your services. See if they want to become a client after. So just the same industry I'm still in, I was just talking through what I was doing then as a beginner. This is what I'm doing. And now, they've transitioned to, this is what I've done. This is how you can do
Yep.
it as well.
Okay.
I was making those videos by the pool, in the car, my hair messed up, no background. But those are always cool to go back and watch sometimes.
I have a similar story in terms of content. I mean, so for the first 10 months of my business, I was just focused on running my business. And we started getting a lot of traction online, on Twitter. And this was pre Elon getting into politics. I think that when Elon got into politics, the algorithm just lost its mind and hasn't recovered. But in 2023, I was like, well, wait a minute. Because that's when we launched Suds. I was like, well, wait a minute. What if I just started posting? And it was like Christmas or something like that. And I just posted and it got like 12,000 views or something like that. And I was like,
Wow.
oh, wait, I can make one post and 12,000 people can see it. Like, I should probably do this 3 to 4 times a day. And we did. And we went from like 219 followers, to the end of 24 was like 3,700 followers or something like that. But, I always find talking to people who make content a priority interesting, because so few people do.
Yeah.
And not only do they not make it a priority, a lot of people think it's like self-serving, it's ego-driven. They don't like content. The word influencer is a 4-letter word to them. Podcaster or YouTubers like, a below term or whatever. Like, but as I look at like the numbers and the ROI from like a minute spent on something to a dollar generated, there are very few things that I could do. There is actually nothing I could do that takes a higher return on time and investment than content creation. So, when did you start to see results?
Can I give you a quick snippet?
Please. Yeah.
Last Thursday. And by the way, I would rather have less people watching my content than more, which is a weird thing to say, because I know it's still more than having to meet everyone face to face.
Yeah. Yeah.
2 people, 2 sales calls, 1 day, last Thursday, sold $20,000 in deals. And this is what they said. Hey, Brad, I've been watching all your YouTube videos. I don't really have any questions. We're just ready to get signed up.
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
Say no more.
Say no more. I'll send you the link.
Yeah.
But that's the power
amazing.
of it, right? And
Yeah.
I had somebody sign up with me last month that I saw in my CRM, which we might talk about. He joined my newsletter last October. We're going on a year. He opened every email I've ever sent him. And he said he watched 8 of my YouTube videos and he was ready to sign up. He just wasn't ready last year, he said. So it's huge. And then with content, people can see if they trust you or not. There's some content creators out there that I've seen that I would never hire them. Because maybe they are doing it for the views and the ego. Or you just see someone like you who, when I go and look at your X feed or watch your videos, you're just a down-to-earth, cool person that's out there helping and sharing what's going on. So instant, I feel like I can trust you. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's wild, man. I mean, we have found great employees from content. We have found great franchisees from content. Some of our best franchisees came from just following me online. Very similar to what you're saying. Aaron, I've been following you for 7 months, and I understand what you're doing. And a day later saying, hey, I don't want someone to take my territories. What do I have to do to lock down the territories? And I mean, we're not like an insignificant investment. I mean, it's $250,000 to $350,000 to launch this business with 2 territories and 2 trucks and working capital and marketing expenses and all this kind of stuff. So to have someone kind of accelerate the buying process that quickly as a result of literally just writing stuff online, I mean, is wild. We just hired someone new for franchise sales because I've been building out that department. And he's just like, yeah, I've been watching the Rolling Sud story since the beginning. You're a titan in the industry, and I'll do anything I got to do to work for your company. And it's like, it's just wild, like what you can do through content creation.
Yeah, and I love that story. That's so cool. Because I like how you brought up the hiring thing, because you're right. And you can also use that to train people and, even backlog it for them as well to get them up to speed too. So, yeah, I love that. And, it is overwhelming, though, for people to get started. I think it took me 6 months to make my first video. Nervous about it. Hair was messed up, or I didn't look good, or I just didn't know what to say. And, will people even listen? Like, do they even care what I have to say?
Yeah. Right. There's like is my story interesting enough? And I tell people, like, your story, people want to know you.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter whether you're founding a startup or you're working as an executive at a tech company. Like, you have stories that you can tell that people will find interesting. And I saw the stat recently for LinkedIn specifically, because LinkedIn is the least amount percentage wise of people who post versus consume for all the platforms. So only 1% of LinkedIn users post daily.
Wow. That's
1%.
crazy.
Isn't that wild? So out of 300 people, 3 will post daily. And so it's like, it's easier basically to stand out on LinkedIn than any of the other platforms, whereas like Instagram's much harder. Twitter's much harder because there's just more frequency in posts and there's more engagement. Whereas I think LinkedIn is a little bit more passive in the sense of like a lot of users are on there just looking for jobs or trying to be professional or whatever. And it's less kind of like social media heavy as some of the other ones. And so we've gotten a ton of traction on LinkedIn over the years. I mean, LinkedIn and Twitter for us are the two biggest, but I'm curious to hear about your experience with YouTube because we're obviously now, well, not obviously, we're putting a lot of effort into the podcast here. I'll probably start putting out one kind of longer form YouTube video breaking down some kind of idea or topic around franchising that I understand probably once every 2 weeks. That's like somewhere between 5 and 20 minutes long. But that's kind of like the next frontier for us is YouTube.
I want to dive into that, but I want to touch on something real quick, if that's cool.
Yeah, of course.
About because you do a really good job on this on your X posts, is sharing the stories. And so I think a lot of people, when they don't know where to start with their content, is what if I'm not there yet? Like, what if I don't have the education and I can't tell people what to do yet? One thing that's super powerful is just sharing what you're going through, like the struggles you had with some franchise owners or the positive experience you had with some people. For me, it's just sharing, hey, I had a client that wasn't happy, and this is what we did to make them happy. Or this is what I did and what I'm doing. I'm just sharing that story. So you don't have to be the expert yet, and don't go tell people what to do. But with the content, just share what you're going through, the lessons you're learning, and people at your level will start seeing that, and you'll start having more stories to actually be able to educate people. So I thought that was
totally
super cool what you do. You do that as well.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, I think franchisors generally, I would say, and maybe it's for like legal reasons or legal protections, is they don't share as much online. I mean, franchising in general is a very highly regulated business, and there's certainly a bunch of franchisee attorneys out there who are kind of like ambulance chasers in the sense of like, oh, did they misrepresent this or did they misrepresent this? And we do everything above board, but that's not the same for a bunch of franchisors out there. There's a lot of bad franchisors. And I just made this thesis in 23 that I was like, I think that if I spend time on content and make it a priority, it'll help me serve my franchisees better. And I can do that through, our highest cost, and usually generally businesses' highest cost is the cost to acquire a customer. And in our case, it's a franchisee. And so if we can decrease the cost to acquire a franchisee through content creation, then we can pay for better team members to then support the franchisees better that can grow the business faster. And so we've been able to basically invest a significant amount of my time, not that much money, in content, a lot of my time. And my time is valuable, but we're able to use my time to do this stuff. And as a result, I mean, we went from 7% of our franchise sales revenue in 23 coming from like organic kind of content creation to 42% in 24. Just like insane
Awesome.
in terms of the, like, we just made more money, which allowed us to build a C-suite of executives, which allowed me to hire a CEO, which allowed me to step into a chairman of the board position, which then allowed me to do more content, which will then, I mean, it's just like, so it's super high leverage.
Even more so if I just break it down, and I got my house and I need some power washing done, and I just do like a Google search or look Rolling Suds up on YouTube, and I see the owner is just this cool guy helping people. way more likely to hire you than someone that whose CEO I can't even find his face or his drug charges on Google.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Well,
Let's
I
see.
realized that before we dig into your business that the audience may not know what Automation Links does specifically. I know you said that you started working with chiropractors and gyms, and then you have kind of expanded out to that. So maybe kind of like talk about kind of your what your business does, and then you mentioned you wanted to get into like your website and stuff like that. So we can get into that part too.
Yeah, and you just asked me before I changed the subject about YouTube because that is something we're
Oh yeah.
helping out a lot with, but not necessarily the YouTube because there's a major shift coming, and I'll share automation links. But where we're at now is helping businesses show up in AI search results,
Okay.
and that guess where they're getting most of that information? YouTube videos.
Is YouTube. Okay.
Yep. So I'm getting clients from ChatGPT now, and my customers are getting clients from ChatGPT and Grok. Because when somebody asks ChatGPT, Grok, or Perplexity something, they trust the answer 22% more than a Google search
When it's on YouTube. Oh,
or
you mean
on
from the
ChatGPT
AI, from the
from the
AI.
AI
You mean
result.
the consumer who's searching something. Got it.
Exactly. So we started, 10 years ago, helping people websites and helping them with their Google SEO. Things transition. Since then, we help them with ads and setting up their CRM so they can automate their business and get leads. And for me, I'm always looking for what's the next thing I can really help somebody with and not get. And I see a lot of marketing agencies, they're stuck in the past. They're still doing old Google ad techniques that don't work. They're still charging $5,000 a month for SEO with blogs that no one reads. So for me, we've got 130 customers that we manage every month. We see what's working and what's not. Blog posts aren't working. We call them on. We say we're cutting blogs. We're not doing them anymore. They don't work.
Yeah.
If we see, SEO is not working, we're cutting that. So we've transitioned, and I'm proud of being able to transition from normal SEO stuff to running ads for people to now just really helping people make sure that they get found in these AI search results. And I'm seeing businesses double right now who have YouTube videos, they're getting found on ChatGPT, and they're getting organic leads without even having to spend more on ads. So that was a earful right there, but that's
I
things
just
change.
I I just read somewhere that Chat GPT now has 800 million users weekly, which is wild.
It is.
That's insane. I also read that 1 out of 7 people are using it.
Yep. So it's small.
Wild.
Still small.
Yeah. Yeah. Up and coming.
It'll come. Normal people will realize someday.
Well, what they've done is they've become the Google of AI, right? You can say, "Oh, have you looked it up in ChatGPT?" And it doesn't matter. Like that's like, it's like Kleenex. You know what I mean? Like they've established themselves, and I think they've done a really good job at remembering the stuff about the user, machine learning, and remembering about the user, because even if like, let's say Claude gives me a better answer or a better written prose for something that I'm trying to like work through, I still will start in chat because chat knows me and knows what my preferences are. And then I'll copy and paste into Claude, or I'll go into Grok really when I need like live X kind of information from Twitter.
Yep.
But I mean, I spend more time in chat GPT. So how did you kind of, I guess like you bring on a client and you're like, go create a YouTube because AI needs to look up YouTube, or like, what are some of the things you do to help them show up in AI?
Yeah. So a couple things. AI is kind of like Google, but they're just not spammed out yet. With Google, they so many backlinks and indexing and fake blogs and all this stuff. That's why people don't trust it as much. ChatGPT, they started with their number one was looking at Reddit threads because those are forums people are actually typing in. Just in the last week, though, they've cut about half of those as trust.
Oh, wow.
Because we know there's spammers on Reddit. The number one thing they're looking at after Reddit now is YouTube because those are words that I said. Right? It's not a fake blog AI wrote. AI didn't write the Reddit thread. It didn't get YouTube's really hard to get spam. So they're pulling the transcriptions from these YouTube videos and saying this is that trusted source. And from there they look at other things like Instagram Reels, which is video based, LinkedIn
Okay.
articles, Medium articles, Substack articles. So they're looking at a multiple of different things. So the first thing we do on a new client is I host them on my podcast and I ask them every single question about their business that somebody would ask in ChatGPT. And then we take that video
Oh,
content and we send it out so it starts getting ranked in ChatGPT. That's my quick way of helping someone.
that's cool. What are some of the questions you ask them?
So, how to find the best franchise in Wilmington, North Carolina to own,
Got it.
um, or how to, raise money to purchase my first franchise. So I would say,
Hmm.
hey, Aaron, how would I go about raising money if I want to buy my first franchise? And your answer is what we're going to go index. So when somebody types that in, I would say most people, especially in the business world, are probably asking ChatGPT that over Google now.
Interesting. Um, so when did you start getting into automation? In addition to, so it's automation and then it's AI ranking are your main two kind of like revenue streams.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yep. So when we started the SMS automation from my mentor back in the fitness days, I've always had the automation in mind. How can I let technology work for me, right? And
Hmm.
I started hearing all these businesses like, you don't follow up with your leads? So what we do, I call it automation links because we just link everything together. We automate and link
Okay.
everything together so a business can grow. So we've helped some really big brands automate and scale from there. And so what we do is we build out their CRMs for them. We set up all the automation emails, all the SMS text messages. Now we're setting up AI bots for them. So the AI bots can schedule calls for them, answer calls. If somebody calls my phone number, my AI bot answers and talks to you like a normal person. So just while you're busy running your business, whether someone like you or somebody that actually has a service-based business, you're driving in your truck. You don't have time to email and follow up with leads, text people
Right.
back, schedule appointments. So you really need to automate as much of that stuff as you can before you think about, I need more leads and customers, because you're going to get overwhelmed and probably have to hire more staff than you actually need.
Got it. So you got into that how long ago? The
So
automation portion?
10 years ago. Yep.
Wow.
Been doing it
It's
ever
gotten
since.
so it's gotten so much more sophisticated from 10 years ago to now.
MailChimp back in the day. How do I
Oh
even
my
automate
gosh.
this thing?
That's wild.
Yep.
So are how you became proficient in I know maybe tell the audience what you're doing for Rolling Suds right now as just kind of a case study.
Yep. So thanks for asking. Appreciate that. We have a team of 8 employees all here in the U.S., a local office here because I just find it works better. And so I have specialists in each thing. So Rolling Suds hired us to help them set up the CRM. I think to save on money because a lot of times businesses get kind of screwed over with super high costs from companies that don't give them everything. So what we are doing is tying a lot of softwares into one. We're setting up all of the CRM functionality from a new lead coming in to getting the automated email to going to an opportunity pipeline to scheduling to getting a notification on the owner to setting up retargeting systems so they get followed up with to now starting to implement some AI to go in there and actually book appointments.
And that's what we're doing for Go High Level integration. Is
Yep.
having the text text appointment booking
Yep.
or phone call. Yeah,
All of it. Hopefully.
all of
Hopefully
it.
soon.
See, we've looked at that, and I mean, there it's inevitable that that's where it's going, call center wise. But what we've struggled with, or at least like we have our call center, and the call center handles the inbound for digital as well as in and phone call, right? So a lead comes in, and they're like, we've looked at these kind of like AI tools where they can answer, but the answering ones don't also have the text message functionality in where they can, or maybe the ones that we're looking at don't. I'm not quite sure, but
Yeah.
it doesn't seem like it's fully up to snuff yet to replace a true call center. It feels like you could do the texting portion that's like inbound text because it's just responses, and you could do the answering phone portion, which is just again inbound phone calls, so you answer it. But where the disconnect is like someone sends in an email and they need a response and they want an estimate, or someone says I need a request for information through Google or an AI chatbot through the website, and then that needs to have a human that picks up the phone and calls. So like all of that hasn't been integrated yet. So what are you seeing in your world with AI and call centers and stuff like that?
Yeah, so now we're really doing a better job on training the AI. So making sure it knows as many answers as it possibly can, and also making it them know it's not we're not trying to trick people. I've seen a lot of these go out and try to trick them like it is an AI agent. I like just being super upfront and having the AI agent through the chatbot, SMS, or answering the call. Hey, this is Aaron's assistant AI agent. I'm just here to collect some more information. Give me your information and what your message is, and I'll route it to the right person. And then the automation will decide if it's important or not. You know, whether it's a spam call or it's actually somebody that needs help, and then routing that to the right person to actually step in. I think there's always going to be a need for a personal call sometimes, or you got to actually show up for the scheduled appointment. But automate as much as you can until that person's qualified, especially when we see how many spam calls there are nowadays, or just leads that aren't qualified as well.
Yeah. But are you seeing call centers getting to the point where they can do all of it? As an example, if someone does a request for a lead, or like they need a power washing estimate, but that goes to a text message and maybe that person wants to be contacted. Like, are you seeing AI that can handle the entire flow, or is it like one is good with voice and the other's good with text and you have to layer them into each other?
That's why we're switching to go high level. It's got everything and it handles it all.
Got it.
Yep,
Okay.
everything in one there. And that's, you know, they're going all in on it. And so they've released some
Go
things
high
this
level
year.
is.
Go high level is. They're all in on the AI. So they've released it to where the whole thing manages it for me. Even will go and write an email based on what they said in the voicemail for me.
Wow.
Yeah.
So can they, if a text comes in to go high level, I'm interested in information. Can go high level call them from a
Yes,
text message that comes in?
it can.
Or the AI can.
The AI can.
And is the AI competent enough to where a person isn't going to be like human, 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 right? Like, you know what I mean? Like, is it going to be able to learn and know enough to be able to do that? And then what happens if you don't have that backup call center? When, you know what I mean?
Exactly. I think there's always going to be issues with AI. That's where I said I don't want it to be 100%. I want it to be 90, 95%, and then route it to the
Yeah.
right person. So like from mine, I can use mine as an example because we're still training your AI right now. But
Okay.
for mine, somebody can send me a text. It'll text them back and know exactly what to say because I've already told it what to say. It can ask them if it wants a call. For me, I don't let it call them back. I call them back personally, just at my level.
Okay.
But it can do
Yep.
that. But at the same time, if I've seen issues where if somebody's muffled on their call, if they don't speak clearly, there's going to be issues. You can't justify
Okay.
that. So I do like getting it as automated as possible. But on a phone call, it answers all my calls. It notifies me, tells the team who called, gives us all the information, follows up with them on an email. We'll follow up on a text. And if that person's like, I need to speak to a human on the phone, okay, what's your name? What's your email? What's your concern? Okay, I'll have Brad call you back.
Got it.
So,
Got it. God, it's just so fascinating what AI is able to do. I mean, this is gonna wipe out entire industries. I mean, the call center industry is like toast. Like unless you become an AI call center that's managed basically largely through AI, and you're toast. Like,
Yep.
there's no way that call centers exist 2 years from now.
And
There's no
that's
way.
where you got to be ready to pivot, like my first story, right?
Yeah, yeah. So, how long does this process normally take? I mean, like, you onboard a client. You can use me. You can use us as an example if you want. How long is the process to usually get them integrated? Like for us, it's we're not doing the franchise sales part. We're doing franchisee interaction and with their customers and call flow and deal flow and stuff like that. So, what's the process timing wise usually take?
It's usually about 3 months for the entire
Okay.
setup and automation and everything trained and working properly. A smaller business, a one-person show, we turn that around in about 1 month. But then for a
Okay.
bigger business that has, more functionality, more users, since you guys have 80, 100, I don't know how many users, you got to customize each one just a slightly. So this will take a little bit longer, but about 3 months.
Okay. Cool. What are some of the biggest challenges that you're seeing business owners face that they're coming to you to help solve?
6 different softwares they're paying for and not enough quality leads.
Okay.
So
And you
nothing's
basically will help
connected.
them do both.
Exactly. We'll connect all their automations and software, save them money, automate it finally, because none of it's usually automated or working right, and make sure that every lead gets followed up with. And then it's time to start getting them leads.
Okay. And how do you help them get leads?
So we start with the AI SEO to start helping them with their video content, start helping them show up in chat GPT rankings. And then we set up all the ads for them. Ads are confusing and overwhelming, and usually people have had bad experiences with that. So we have a whole ad team. David, my ad manager, he handles the whole team with each client, and we just do it right. It's crazy because a business will come to us and say, "I don't know if I need ads. I spent 5,000 on ads and didn't get any results." Well, my question is, who did it? And it's either them or they hired an agency. And if it's them, they're obviously not experts at it. If they hire an
Right.
agency, agencies are lazy. It's, I have to do a lot of convincing that we're different. But when it comes, because they've worked with lazy agencies before, but when it comes down to it, just do a good job. Just do it right. Don't be lazy. So for us, we prefer working with less people and just quality, focusing on quality. And when
Hmm.
you actually do ads right, I got some stats for you. Now, remember back in the day when they said you had to call someone 7 times, bring them
Hmm.
donuts, or take them golfing for
Yeah,
them
yeah,
to
yeah.
trust you?
Yeah.
It's 24 times on 3 platforms somebody has to see you before they trust you now.
24 times? What?
On
So
three
is that just
platforms.
because they spend so is that because people spend so much more time online? Is that kind of the thought process around it, or what do you think the reasoning behind that is?
Are you on Instagram or Facebook at all?
We're on all of them.
You personally?
Yeah. Me
Okay.
like so yeah, so just so you know, all of the leads that we get organically are through my own personal brand content. So we don't, I mean, we put effort towards the Rolling Suds page and we put things out on the Rolling Suds page, but I'm of the opinion that people want to buy from people. And I think it's much harder to build like a Coca-Cola today than it was 30 years ago, because people, they don't trust brands like they trust people. We live in a creator economy. So what that means is that I create on Instagram, Threads, TikTok, Facebook, X, and LinkedIn and YouTube, and we post every day on all those channels, multiple times a day, and that is how we get leads. Now, we can talk about this, but basically, we are hiring a fractional franchise development kind of leader, marketing leader, in our company who worked for Dave Ramsey and Seven Figure Flipping and Best Choice Roofing, to essentially come in and take the organic stuff that I'm doing and say, how do we repurpose the things that work and create targeted ads of you specifically talking to someone in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, where you want to sell a franchise. And how do we pay and run ads? And then how do we take that person through an automation funnel that then makes them decide, okay, now I'm going to get on the calendar of Rolling Suds, versus right now, it's just someone follows me, and then in some period of time, they decide I'm going to get on the sales team's calendar. So there's no nurture sequence other than my social media
100%.
Right now, currently.
There's no structure behind it. Yeah. I mean, I'm
It's
just
just
instantly
I
thinking-
post things online. Yeah.
I instantly think of Alex Hermosi because he's got some good stats on that too, right? Organic, run ads, retarget, have a system, do 100 million in a day. And
God, so
Right.
wild.
And he did it for 5 years. He was patient, did
Yeah.
it for 5 years. So I'm really happy you're doing that. You're going to be so fruitful from doing that. I think, my question on it, are you on Instagram? I was asking, I wasn't clear. Do you remember the last reel you watched?
No.
Me either.
Is that, what do you think? I mean, why do you
24
think that
times.
is?
24 times on 3 platforms. And I brought up Alex Hermosi because he said that they do all the numbers. But somebody has to watch, I think, 140 of his reels to trust him as much as they do to watch one of his hour-long YouTube videos.
Wow. So that's how much leverage it is on long form now versus short.
People don't
Yeah.
remember you. They watched 300 reels today. They don't remember Aaron or Brad.
That is wild.
Yep.
Yeah, because
So-
we put a lot more time into short form last year, and our thesis is that it's much more long form now, which is part of the reason why this podcast exists.
Love it. So what I've been doing and really encouraging my clients to do is use the short form to get them to the long form.
Okay.
Yep. So instead of using short form to go to my website, if you already know they don't remember you or trust you from the short form, I say take the short form and send them to your YouTube, and then the YouTube will convert them over time. But that's what.
So the CTA at the end of the short is go to my YouTube to learn more. I just posted a video breaking down giving equity to employees. My YouTube is in the link or link in bio. It's kind of the CTA.
Exactly. Because people are
Yeah.
in two user behaviors online that we found. They're either in there for entertainment or education, right? If I'm on Instagram or I'm watching a short, that's mostly entertainment. I'm there looking at dogs and funny memes and things. So I'm not there in a learning mode. But when I am in a learning mode is when I'm on a treadmill or I'm on a long road trip. I'm putting on a YouTube long form and I'm learning and I'm consuming that content. And that education is super valuable. So I use the entertainment to get them to the education and just meet them where they're at.
Got it. Okay.
And then using ads to make sure that they never forget about you. It's actually cheaper than ever to do ads if you do them right. So just like your team's probably going to do, is you need to set up those ads so when somebody hits your website and you get them on your pixel to retarget them, just start showing your ads everywhere. Have you ever said something and all of a sudden you started seeing the ads everywhere?
Yeah. Yeah. Because it's
It's-
just listening to you.
It's just listening. We were out on our boat. We're boaters out here, and somebody said something about a new energy drink. Actually, said the name of the energy drink, and we all started seeing the ads as soon as we got back to our cars.
That's wild.
Yep. And
That's
then you just
wild.
have to keep showing them that 24 times. And I really like a couple things. Like I like seeing your X posts right organically. I'm seeing those all the time. Next time I go to YouTube, I hope I see your YouTube ad. And then I'm going to go click on that and watch a long form YouTube ad. And then I should get an email from you with an update about Rolling Suds. And I'm just starting to see Aaron everywhere. And then I see you on Instagram next time. I'm like, man, I see this Aaron guy everywhere. He must be a celebrity or he must be famous or something. But I'll trust you much more.
It's wild. I go to these so I go to a conference at least probably once a month, and they're different different events as it relates to franchising, broker conferences where I meet with franchise brokers. I'm going to Main Street Summit here in a month. Will you be there? Are you going to Main Street Summit by chance?
One person said I should go. Do you think I should go?
100%.
Okay. Okay. We get to meet
Yeah,
face to
because
face.
we'll meet face to face, but just like what you're trying to do, or what your audience is business owners that want to like make more money. So there's basically two kinds of people that go to Main Street Summit. There's like searchers who are looking for a business so that they could then make that business better, kind of replace the fax machine kind of ideal. So there's searchers. And then there's the like institutional kind of capital allocators that go. And then there's like the holdco owners that are like operating kind of like multiple businesses. They're launching a franchise track this year. I spoke last year at the only franchise panel that they had. I was like one of two franchise people that went, and now they've got a whole track that they're doing. So there will be a bunch of franchise people there as well. But I mean, it's like 1,100 people that go, and it's only in its like fourth year. The permit equity guys, Brent Beshore, they're the ones who put it on.
Oh yeah. Okay. Cool.
So they put it on. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I go to these conferences and I don't have like a significantly large following. It's certainly not like an Alex Hermosi or Cody Sancho, Stephen Bartlett. Like I don't have anywhere near that. But I go to these conferences in these very niche communities, and people come up to me and say, "Hey, I've followed you for a long time. I know, like, can you help me with this thing?" Or let me tell you about this problem I'm having. Or like, how did you acquire this brand and turn it into a franchise? Like, and sometimes it's nice because they're like, I'm recognized, but like if I'm talking with a broker or something and I'm vibing and some, emerging franchisor with 2 units comes up and says, "Hey, can I steal you for a second?" It's like, well, I'm in the middle of a conversation. Like I'm not opposed to being helpful to you, but like maybe wait a little bit until I'm done with this conversation. But that's all because of content. It's all because of me just putting stuff out online. It's wild.
I would guess that they probably share revenue and money numbers with you that a stranger would never tell anyone.
Yeah, it's they tell me what their system-wide sales are, how fast they've grown the company. I've been offered like equity in people's businesses. I mean, I'm only focused on suds right now. I mean, the personal branding feeds into rolling suds. Like I'm not doing anything else, but it does, like, to your point, like if I do this for the next, I'm going to put it like 2 years in now. I do this for the next 3-4 years, just organically. Like there's going to be a whole base built of like real recognizable, I've watched you since the beginning kind of stuff,
And I mean, just once you start pouring the ads on it, like you're going to be just like Alex Hermosi with that. You're just 2 years in. So yeah, you give it the 5 years and they just see you everywhere. You're going to have to get a bodyguard at these events. We'll have to get a bodyguard following you around.
Yeah, we'll have to get a bodyguard going. That's crazy, man.
So,
I talked to this searcher who had a business that was doing $30 million, so what I did basically was acquire the systems, processes, trademarks, franchise rights, everything that has or will be created from a systems perspective from a local business. We created then a new business, which didn't exist before, which is the franchise business. And we took that business and I raised capital, I invested my own money, and then we franchised it. So it was essentially a startup franchisor based around a 35-year-old power wash. And like, there wasn't a playbook for this. I couldn't go on Google and type or chat GPT and say, how do I acquire a 30-year-old power washing brand and turn it into a franchise? Like, it didn't exist. So I was like, it's completely from scratch in terms of like, I just basically went off of like intuition most of the time. Of like, I think this is fair. I think this is why, but there was no real playbook. This guy I talked to at this last conference, he was a searcher, so raised search fund dollars. his angle was, instead of acquiring, a local HVAC business doing a couple $1,000,000 in EBITDA per year, I'm going to go acquire a franchisor, and I'm going to systematically change the franchisor and make it more profitable. So this guy was a full-blown operator. Like, you could tell. Like, when you meet like an operations guy and you can just see that they're like putting the puzzle together in their brain as they talk to you. Like, it's very different than talking to like a born and bred salesperson who's like very present, and like you can feel he's in that it's a very different thing, right? So he was very much I'm thinking of what you're saying 20 years from now and what I could do 20 years from now, like
Putting
very
a
much
puzzle
like that.
together in his head.
Putting a puzzle together, like you've seen these guys, like they're like, it's like The Beautiful Mind, like there's just like they're thinking of all these like equations are popping up behind their mind. So dude, this guy calls, there's 4,000 FDD, there's 4,000 franchisors. He literally downloaded every single franchise disclosure document that existed, and he called every single founder of every single brand until he found this brand that was doing 30 million in system-wide sales, realized he could optimize it, raised search fund, which I don't know what it ends up being, but search fund dollars, you end up owning like, I don't know, 20% of the company max or something like that. And it buys a $30 million system-wide sales franchisor. And he grows it, I don't know how many years, to 70 million. Okay. But he did that all through improving unit level economics, not adding new franchisees. And so he's at this broker conference trying to figure out what to do. And I'm like, dude, it sounds great. Like, you've got great economics. I said, so what's the problem? Like, what's the constraint? And he goes, well, I don't think there is one. And I'm like, well, how do you're building a $150 to $200 million company, let's just call it. How do you make it $1 billion? And he goes, well, through franchise sales. And I was like, so that's the constraint, is franchise sales. Like, so he's like, you ask the question of how do you get it to be like 5 times more? And the answer of why you can't do that is the constraint of the business. And so I'm like, so you need to sell franchises and double the system size. And he's like, well, yeah, but that's going to be really hard. And then I'm going to have to start people from scratch. I was like, welcome to franchising.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, welcome to franchising, dude. Like, you got to raise the kids.
That's
like,
hilarious.
that's what you got to raise the kids. They've never owned a business before.
Exactly.
So yeah, of course it's easier to take someone from $700,000 a year to $1 million by helping them with automation or like some small constraint that you could fix. Take someone from 0 to $1 million, and you're talking, that's franchising, dude. That is franchising. That is, yeah. Well, I mean, and it's hard. It's hard to do that. Not everyone succeeds. No. You know what I mean? Like, it's just hard. And he's like, well, how do I sell franchise? I'm like, you're at a broker conference. This is how. Like, this is how. Here. This is what you do. Yeah, go make friends with everyone here. And then he's doing the puzzle in his mind. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna go move. And he's like, I hope we could work together sometime. And it's just wild. Like, I'd never met that person before, and he knew everything about me.
That is awesome. Tell him, hey, you got to start making content. He probably wouldn't be the right one to do content.
No, the ops guys don't like doing content.
He's not a marketer in any way.
No. He's like, well, I could just get him to 1.2 million. I'm like, yeah, you could, and that would be great for the brand. But this is how you build $1 billion companies, through franchise sales.
Well, that's what I actually really stuck out to you guys. For me, was you have both, to where you have those systems in place. We're making the systems better. And that's what I do, is I go help people make systems better. But you also take somebody from the ground up as well.
Yep.
So you guys have all of that in place, which is huge. You can't grow without both, I think, right?
No, I mean, so every emerging brand starts with nothing. I mean, in terms of like, when I say with nothing, I mean no other franchisees. Like, you have something that's replicable. Right, or at least you should. Like, you have to have like a unit that you're replicating, right? But you're starting from from no franchisees to a lot of franchisees. And the way a franchisor has to get to scale in order to justify franchising is at least 50 million in system-wide sales. That's kind of like the number where like the business starts to make sense. So let's say you make 8% of 50 million on a royalty. So what does that come out to? 50 million times 0.08. That's $4 million a year. So it's going to cost, in order to get a brand to 50 million in system-wide sales, it'll probably cost 3 to 3.5 annually in overhead. And so you're going to basically more or less burn cash unless you're selling a lot of franchises, or unless you've raised a ton of capital, or unless you are using a corporate unit to then fund the franchise. So those are kind of like the three ways: raise a lot of money, sell a lot of franchises, or have a corporate unit funding it. And then to get it to that scale, you have to get all those units open. You have to help as many of them as possible get to profitability as fast as possible. And then the system-wide sales gets to a point where it pays for the infrastructure. And then you've reached royalty self-sufficiency. So, and then franchise sales and everything is kind of icing on top of the cake. And then you get to 100 million or whatever. And then like that's where the business starts to get super interesting. But out of the 400, or out of the 4,000, this is a fun stat for you. Out of the 4,000 franchisors, 680 of them have more than 100 units.
Wow.
Out of those 680, 90 got to 100 units in less than 10 years. 90.
That's crazy. And you're one of them, I think.
Yeah, I mean, we got to 100 units in the first 10
awesome.
months.
That is awesome.
So,
how did?
Yeah.
This is my podcast, not your podcast interviews. But
No, it's okay. Ask me questions. No, we're good. Yeah. You're fine. Yeah.
How do you think you got there so quick? Just having the right systems in place, finding the right people, and
so there's a few factors. So I had worked with a couple other brands and helped those brands grow. So I had already established a reputation in the industry as someone who can help brands grow, right? As an employee. And specifically in the franchise broker, franchise consultant community. So for those who don't know that are listening, franchise brokers, franchise consultants are essentially real estate agents for franchises. So you would then say, I'm interested in this type of franchise with this type of investment range. Oftentimes you would be partnered up with a franchise broker. That's kind of how this like ecosystem works. The franchise broker will learn about you, do personality tests, that kind of stuff, and then present you with some brands. And franchise brokers have to do this dance where they say, okay, well, who has a great brand and can move deals? Meaning find franchisees to actually sign up. And franchise sales, franchise development, franchise recruitment is a different sales process and a different type of sell than anything that anyone has ever done, because they're generally leaving like a very secure place in terms of making good money. Maybe they have a great business, but some pain is there that wants them to take a big leap to now completely change their life. And it is a significantly high investment. And the reality is most franchisors have never sold franchises before, and they can't close deals, even if they have great unit economics. And so part of it is just I grew a brand from 98 units to 323 units in 2 years. Huge. And the franchise brokers were like, Aaron, we trust you. You take care of franchisees. We know your family. We know your kids' names. Like we've known you for years. Like whatever brand you want to launch, like we trust you. We're in. So that's part of it. You have to be able to create revenue. Yeah. And you have to be able to create revenue fast. And you don't have royalties yet. So the only thing that's going to create revenue is franchise sales. Also, we did that in-house. when you do franchise sales in-house versus hiring an outsourced franchise development company, you can keep more of the franchise fee,
Yep.
which allows you to then invest in the infrastructure. So, and then I did the franchise sales myself for the first 160 units. So I wasn't
that.
paying, I wasn't paying a sales team. I didn't
That makes you an
have
entrepreneur right there.
You just do it. You
gotta
just do it. You just do it. I talk to people who say, I'm going to start a business. I'm going to hire a sales team. I'm like, good luck. Like, good luck. But yeah, and then obviously like the model makes sense, right? Like we're in a serious like right place, right time kind of thing as it relates to like the power washing industry being largely unsophisticated, and so we get to come out and like just be like better, and then we win business. And the commercial side of what we do is highly valuable. You're doing 30, 40, 70, $150,000 jobs versus, $300, $400 houses, which we do that as well. It's just a significantly smaller portion of our business. So there was just a lot of economic tailwinds that we were able to ride. And then also just the experience that I had in franchising allowed us to get to scale quicker than a normal brand.
That's huge. I mean, and just thinking about the commercial side, I mean, I'm going to trust Rolling Suds, and especially you creating your content, the trustworthy founder. That the bigger you guys get, the more commercial properties are going to trust you. That's definitely got to be a compounding effect.
Totally. Yeah.
Can I ask about
yep.
your? Because if you don't mind, when I first met you guys, lots of different marketing systems. Did you?
Yeah.
Were you involved with that? Is it overwhelming when you're starting a business? Like, who do I choose? What do I do? Who do I invest in?
Yeah. So there's a few pieces to this. Like a franchisor, you're ultimately like a franchisee is paying a royalty for the franchisor to curate a business experience for them, right?
Yep.
And so marketing, a lot of people will usually come to franchisors because they're like, I'm going to be able to get leads faster, which is true, or it should be true, but the franchisor isn't a marketing company, so and shouldn't be. And if a franchisor was just a marketing company, then there wouldn't be a point in paying royalties. You just go hire a marketing company to generate leads for you.
Yep.
And so before I launched, I vetted and negotiated with marketing vendors that had proven that they can make franchisees money in other industries that are similar. And then I negotiate with them. I come up with a price. I hold them accountable to a service level agreement. And if they don't meet the service level agreement in terms of performance, response times, candor with franchisees, like there's a variety of different things we're negotiating, then we can just drop them and go to a different vendor.
Yep.
The other thing is like the reason why you have to have multiple vendors is not every vendor works the same in every market. If they did, to be honest with you, there'd probably be no reason to franchise your business because you could just put $1 in the lead machine and get 10 out and like hire managers and buy trucks and then like keep 35%, 40% profits versus getting an 8% royalty.
Exactly.
So the franchisee, there's an inherent level of risk that the franchisee is taking on by trying and testing these vendors out in their market. And we try to help our franchisees understand that like marketing is an investment. You will spend more at the beginning on marketing because you are investing in figuring out what works. But then when we figure out which vendor is going to produce the leads for you and be most effective in your market, then it's like now you might spend less money, but you're going to spend it specifically on this one that works really well. And so there's a lot that goes into it.
It's overwhelming too. I mean, so many different softwares, and like we see it change every week. Google released something last week, YouTube released something last month, ChatGPT every day. So it's hard to keep up too. And so I totally see how, it's overwhelming for people. And so that's what we really try to do is just let's simplify it for you. Let's make everything run smoothly and simplify.
Yeah. So is your goal to try to get, if possible, to get your clients on like a Go High Level, where it's like everything's integrated and you're able to see everything, or a HubSpot or a Salesforce or whatever? Like, is that kind of
That's the
that
goal.
way you could kind of, that's the goal.
Yep.
Okay.
Connect everything, get them in one system, and then once we know the system's perfect, now it's time to start getting leads and scaling from there.
So, one question I have for you. One of the things I wanted to do since the beginning was get one software that did everything. And I went and hung out with Alex Hormozy a couple times last year. It was really cool. We spent an entire day together, and I was like, yeah, I'm just like trying to vet these different softwares and find one that does field management and call routing and invoices, as well as like and I want also to have like this robust commercial sales pipeline, right? Because we're heavy commercial, means we're going to have a pipeline. The bigger that pipeline is, the more estimates we're giving, the more franchisee revenue we can generate.
Yeah.
And he just said, Aaron, those are two different softwares. That's two different softwares. And now every software wants to tell you they can do everything, right? Because they want to get you on a multi-year contract and they want the recurring revenue. We have not found one that can do heavy pipeline sales management and also lead routing, marketing, tracking, field management tool. And so that's part of the reason why we've had these, now we're adding Go High Level.
Yep.
But do you think there is a software that can do all of it?
There finally is. And
Is it Go High Level?
It is Go High Level now. Yep.
Yeah.
But up
Wow.
until this point, there hasn't been. You're right. Because we've had to use Zapier, all these different tools to connect everything, which we're the specialists at. But same thing, I had to pivot because I don't need all that now. I did finally found a solution. But up until now, there hasn't been one. And I used to be a big...
That's so wild.
It's crazy.
So wild.
Yep. So
But
it's
you're seeing
exciting
it in
times.
Go High Level. There's no other ones.
No other ones. HubSpot, not even close. I know, but the price is so expensive for HubSpot. I used to be a HubSpot user. I used to spend so much money on that and still have to use Zapier to connect things. And they're just not keeping up with being that all-in-one solution. Now, I've always been against all-in-one solutions, Aaron, to be honest, because who can be the best at everything?
Yeah.
But I'm finally, just this year, I'm putting my trust in Go High Level because they are great at everything. They're not the best
So
at
are
everything,
they-
but great at everything.
Are they building out? So like for us right now, like we have Workies, right? They are building out something similar to Workies, but it has to be custom. I'm far removed from the process, as you can tell.
Yep. We've
I'm
already...
the chairman of the board. I just let my team make the decisions, but I'm curious as to your opinion as an expert.
I'm glad that you stay in that position. Right?
Yeah,
That's good.
It's their job.
Keep
it's
making
my job
content.
to do. Yeah, it's my job to do this type of stuff.
I love it.
Yeah.
That's awesome. We've already replaced Workies in there.
Okay.
Yep. We've
Wow.
already taken care of that. We've already replaced a few other things like Constant Contact, and some other
Go
things.
High Level can do the constant contact stuff too, without tripping the.
Yep.
I mean, that's why all these things don't work, is because they trip the junk
They trip the junk.
responses.
We've already started improving the email sender reputation through them.
Okay.
So yeah, and in December they partner with Jobber, which is interesting because they're going to be taking over, and so they're
Who
coming
Go
up-
High Level did?
Yeah, them and Jobber.
Did they buy
partnered.
Jobber?
I don't know yet, but in December their app is being released to be a
Okay.
full service-based app.
So they won't have to build it out custom, but currently they have to build it out custom.
Yep, currently. Well, it's there. Everything's there. You just can't
Okay.
go and make it exactly how you want it, but in December
Okay.
you will be able to, which is exciting.
Wow. Yeah. So we used Jobber when I was at the Patch Boys, which is a drywall repair brand that I helped grow. And listen, like franchisees never like the software. Like it does.
No.
It literally doesn't matter. I mean, I'm sure if you've worked with franchisors before, like it doesn't matter if it's Service Titan. The franchisees don't like the site. No matter what you do. No matter
Exactly.
what you do.
They don't even want to log in and do anything.
No, they're like, I could do it better, and it's like, oh,
I've sent Loom videos on training, and Loom tells you if people watch them. They don't watch them.
they don't watch it. They just call. They just call my team and say,
I
it
will
doesn't
tell you,
work.
we finally got the sign off from Nick, and Jacob's a huge fan, but Nick
on
finally
go
signed off.
on go high level being field management.
Yep, he's ready to make the
Wow.
switch. And that was, I thought he was going to be the hardest one to talk into it.
He is he's one of our most strong willed and successful franchise owners, president of our FAC, and that's pretty cool that he signed off on it. That is a win.
Yeah, it took us a couple months. You know, you asked me how long
Yeah.
it takes. I said 3 months. Sometimes it takes a little longer, but
Yeah.
we're finally getting sign-offs, which is exciting.
Well, especially when you've got so many decision makers,
Yeah.
right? Like when you're talking, I mean, if we were just a local power washing company with a few locations in Tennessee, I could see how it could be a month to a month and a half process. You're talking about we got 92 franchise owners operating in 326 territories across the country. Like it's going to be a longer play there.
For sure. One last thing I wanted to touch
Yeah.
on, because I asked you about your service things.
Yeah.
There are, if anyone watching, I just want to encourage you to always try to own your software too, or be the primary owner. I see, and Aaron, I want to just put that across. My business is all about trust and relationships and doing whatever it
Yeah.
takes to help other business owners, because it's already hard enough. So to have somebody against you makes it even harder. To have someone on your side, that's my goal, is to be on people's side. And thank God I've worked with hundreds of businesses that all say that about us, which is great. But watch out for companies that try to own the software, because they will
Meaning
hold
like own the data within the software?
exactly, own the accounts, own the data, own the software. Because if you're not the owner, I've seen so many people be held hostage, unfortunately. So that's something that we're totally against. Whoever we work
So
with,
do you
own it all.
negotiate that? Do you negotiate that? So like, let's say you bring on a client and they're with a CRM,
Yep.
and the CRM has owns the software. Would you urge them to renegotiate before you invest in continuing to build out?
Exactly.
Is that a pretty standard thing that these softwares will say, like unless you ask specifically? Is it like built in that they own the data?
Not so. I would take that back. Not necessarily a software, more of the agencies, marketing agencies you work with.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So maybe somebody owning all your Facebook ad accounts, and
Oh.
you're spending millions of dollars with them running Facebook ads, and then it's time to move on. You just have to start fresh because they own that. They hold you hostage on that. So,
God,
yep.
that'd be wild.
Yep. So always watch
That would
out
be
for that when you
insane.
work with these people like me. I'm the one warning you.
Yeah. So what? So let's say there's people looking either to start a business or maybe let's do own a business first, and they're considering, how do I get more leads? How do I automate my business? What are some pieces of advice or tactical things that they could do like tomorrow to do some of those things?
Yeah, I think come up with a plan to start. I always like automating first. So set up some sort of CRM and set up some automations to just do some simple follow-up. Somebody fills out your contact form, send them an email, and tell them you received the contact form. That's something so basic, but I see most people don't have. If somebody fills out your contact form, set it up so it notifies you so you actually call them. I've seen somebody with like 50 leads before that they never called back because they didn't even know they were filling out the forms. So just start
Oh my
off
God,
with some
terrifying.
basic follow-up automation. From there, find a channel where you think your ideal audience is, and I'd say just start with one and start posting, whether it's text-based or video-based, educating them and teaching things. I call it the college professor method, and you and I both do this, where you just get online and you teach stuff. And even if you have an audience of 30 people in your classroom, those 30 people are eventually going to buy from you. So just choose one platform, whether you like LinkedIn, whether you think your audience is on X, whether you think they're watching videos, and just start teaching something consistently once a week. You'll start getting actually leads from that. And that's, I think, if you're just starting out and looking for the first step.
Cool. Awesome.
If you're
Well,
ready to scale, if you already have a business and you want to scale, 24 times on 3 platforms. Don't forget that. So organic content, running ads, retargeting, email automations, follow up, follow up, follow up.
So 24 times, that might be daunting to someone. So basically on 3 different platforms. So would you say pick 3 platforms then, instead of one? Or yeah, like how would you,
If you're just starting out, pick one and then
pick one,
slowly grow up to
get
3.
familiar with that?
Yep.
Okay.
If you already have a
And
good
just
business,
post every day.
post every day or at least once a week, right?
Yeah.
But if you're
Yeah.
already out there, you already
Yeah.
have a brand, like if you already have been posting, set up some retargeting ads, set up some automated emails, and just imagine your ideal customer is not buying from you today. They're going to buy from you in 3 months. So what are you doing to remind
Okay.
them to buy from you in 3 months when they're ready?
Awesome. Brad, if people want to learn more about automation links or follow you or anything like that, where can they go?
Where do you think I'm going to recommend? YouTube.
YouTube. I had a feeling you would say YouTube.
Just Brad Smith Coach on YouTube. Unfortunately,
Okay.
I'm competing with the Microsoft CEO, got hired, and his name is Brad Smith. So just skip past his
Oh,
videos. I'll be right below Microsoft CEO.
awesome. Well,
And,
Brad, thanks so much for coming on the Scaling Podcast. Really enjoyed it. Really glad we got to kind of talk about a lot of this stuff.
awesome. Thank you so much for having me. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Go make some helpful content.
All right, we'll see you next time.